I'm going to give you an informative speech about the latest developments made in cancer research. So, what is cancer? Why is it killing everyone? It's the biggest thing that kills over 570,000 people in the nation every year. However, in order for one to understand what cancer is, you have to know what specifically the name of it is. Cancer. According to the dictionary, it is a serious disease that is caused by one or more cells that are abnormal and can move from one or more parts of the body. Here is an example. My great aunt had breast cancer. Survivor for 10 years, amazing woman. She had a double mastectomy, which means she had both of her breasts removed. Survived for 10 years, however, in 1999, her cancer returned and returned to brain cancer, at which time it turned into too many hot spots and it ended up just taking her body. It was 2 weeks after everything she had been through. So I would like to take a minute and talk about the new detections, procedures, and treatments that have been found recently in the past decade, since her death actually, to save more lives and cut that 570,000 in half. So, the first new detection that was found was by Stanford University's urologist Joseph Liao and his colleagues. In 2014, Liao and his colleagues found that during a study, a target test, as they so eloquently put it, they discovered a protein called CD47. What is CD47? It is a protein signal on a cell that signals the immune system when somebody is sick not to attack it. This way, the immune system can fight it off itself. However, compared to normal cells, cancer cells produce more of this. By the end of it, what the CD47 can do is bind together as one, and everything comes together. And then doctors are able to see what part of anybody's body has this. So this is specifically done on bladders. According to the article, the researchers in Joseph Liao added a fluorescent molecule to an antibody that would only bind to this molecule. Why this molecule? Nobody's sure. But it was only the CD47 protein molecule, and this is what they found. Here is an image. So say this is the molecule. The molecular imaging is the fluorescent molecule. The molecular therapy is the antibody. And the nanotechnology is considered the CD47. These three combined were able to bring out all those little cells. These are signals that after a while, when they were inserted, into these bladders that were removed from bladder cancer patients, after 30 minutes the bladder was rinsed and the researchers were able to see that the CD47 protein remained and the fluorescent light showed on the healthy bladders where it was. Now, healthy bladders, you may add, that doesn't mean anything. If the cancerous cells are inside of it, it can kill somebody or make them severely sick. So, then we move on to Northwestern University. They have been able to find something that's unique about it. They're set up to find these things. So they have the equipment for researchers to come to them and to send out DNA testing, gene testing, all that fun stuff. However, there is one thing Northwestern came to find. Colon, prostate, breast, and pancreatic cancer, or prostate cervical, I should say, all have easy tests to be early detection signs. Pancreatic, lung, and ovarian don't have these tests, and that's when surgery is required for biopsies. The next detection that has been found is called a digital mammogram. Now, mammograms have existed for a while, but this one, unlike the regular mammogram, doesn't require the doctors to press the breast in between two sheets of slides. What this one does is, with digital mammogramming, it allows the doctors to create a 3D digital image of the breast and see into all the tissues instead of just the top and the lower. Here is one, and it has the image, may I remind you, of as clear as a picture on a smartphone. So here's a regular breast that was done by the digital mammogramming. Here's one that had cancer in it. According to this picture, this is in about the first stage of cancer and is able to treat. Once it is past the first stage, treatments become a lot more harder. So what are some procedures being done? Well, Boston Medical University, one of the top universities and medical campuses in the nation. They have now found they have pioneered, I should say, a new lung cancer surgery specifically. This is done on the esophageal and medicinal diseases as well, but specifically for lung cancer. What is it? It's a port access robotic lobectomy. What this procedure is according to this picture, the patient lays right here on this bed. From here, the surgeon is able to, while there are nurses around, like regular surgery, I promise, to make sure no complications go wrong, the head surgeon uses robotic hands and is using a computer system in which it inserts little incisions around the sides of the body and can remove the lung. It is less invasive, has a greater vision with magnification, and is less hard on the nerves for radiation, and the post-operative pain is a lot less than any other regular surgery. This one, like I said, is also being done on esophageal and medicinal, but it's specifically designed for lung, and they're trying to find it for other ones too. The next procedure being done is on endometrial cancer. It's one of the rare types of cancer, but it's actually found among women that it's more or less a gene. It has to run in the family. So, endometrial cancer, I should say, is done by a hysterectomy. Men have it too. Like I said, it's more common in women. Here in this diagram, there are 3 types of hysterectomies. The total hysterectomy, which is when they completely remove the uterus, including the cervix. A total hysterectomy with salpingoophorectomy is when they just remove the ovaries and the fallopian tubes. And the radical hysterectomy is to remove the uterus, cervix, and ovaries in the fallopian tubes near the lymph nodes, and may also be removed. The lower transverse incision is there, or they can do a vertical. Either way, this way is how they get rid of endometrial cancer. So what are some types of treatments? Well, this one hits close to home. I lost my best friend almost a year ago. Hardest thing I ever had to do. She was diagnosed with glioblastoma. It is a rare brain tumor that has a hard time, and is also a time when brain tumors are on the brain and are in spots that cannot be removed. Here in the diagram is the red spot. That red spot shows that it's cancerous. For treatment, they have to be extra careful, because if they go in and remove it, all it can do is it can cause brain damage if it's not done or taken out correctly, or even parts of it can be taken out. According to the Texas Medical University, the treatment for human use is not ready. The Food and Drug Administration requires extensive testing that can take up to a decade, with rat research among the earliest steps. The scientists, though, are hopeful that the success will be here in the next couple of years, because of how severe this one is. What are some other treatments? Well, there's clinical trials, which means that there are medications that are not fully approved by the FDA, but have passed certain requirements. Next, there's radiation therapy. There's 3 types of radiation. There's external beam, internal radiation, and systematic. External is directed from a machine outside the body onto cancer cells within the body. This is done on mostly children and elderly patients who have cancer that are in hard places and doctors are too afraid to put them under. Internal is a radioactive material placed with a catheter into or near the tumor. This one, the patient is put under anesthetic, they insert it, and then they're monitored for almost a week afterwards, from a week up to almost 6 months. It depends on what type of cancer it is. And then there's systematic radiation. It's a radioactive substance that travels through the blood and it destroys cancerous cells. This one can be like dialysis, seen in dialysis, or through blood testing, stuff like that. There's also a new one called radiosurgery. It's the newest type of treatment that is only done in 15 minutes and it sends people back to their normal lives. This one is only offered, though, at the Henry Ford Hospital in New Jersey. With radiosurgery, it is a form of stereotactic radiation, which means the radiation precisely delivers intense radiation doses to the tumor target in 1 or 5 treatments. And this is amazing that it's only done in 15 minutes. The goal of this non-invasive procedure is to destroy or make an inactive while the tumor minimizes dose exposure to the surrounding healthy tissue. Another type of treatment that's very common is chemotherapy. This is the one that's found on a lot of cancers to treat because there's no other treatments for it. And this is the one that can make patients severely ill. So, what have we learned today? Well, we've learned you've learned more about cancer and how serious of a subject this is. And I believe that with this information I've given and all the research and development still being made every day, we can stop cancer. Like I said before, 570,000 people are killed from this treacherous disease every year. By these new developments, we'll be able to cut it in half. Thank you.